Hi friends, so today I am playing with these Ohuhu markers, and there's multiple ways you can work with these. Um, I'm going to show you the way I'm kind of starting out with these first, and that is to keep my color palette kind of simple. Versus getting into some really dark colors and light colors. I'm using colors that are an easy transition. And I'm just going to do this little flower for you here first. So what I first did, it's really important, by the way, to make sure, I know with the 216 set that I was given by them, thank you again. They sent me these swatch sheets, which took me a while to do, but they're really important because what I found is when I'm working on a transition from light to dark, it really helps and made it easier for me if I went gradual. Now, as I get better at these, I'm sure I will get the blending down and be able to switch back and forth a lot easier. But right now I wanted to show you what I found was the easiest for me. So what I did is I wanted to paint this little yellow flower that I have here. And actually, let's just draw it out because I'm going to use one of their fine line markers. Let's see, I'm going to use the 7. And I'm going to go ahead and draw this simple flower and then let it dry a minute, and I will explain to you how I chose my colors here. I always use these guidelines. So I've got my circle here. Let me just zoom in a bit there. And then I use guidelines. So I just draw these lines out here. And by the way, this is the Ohuhu pad they gave me, which is really great because they include with it, that you can't see it, this like plastic paper so that it doesn't go through, bleed through to your next sheet. So that was quite handy. I'm going to draw my petal guidelines here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I typically just in general go with a 6-petal flower. It's kind of easiest. And then I'm going to take my pen and go ahead and draw them out. So the reason these guidelines are so helpful is they keep my petals from being too wonky. They all lead back to the center of my flower. So they just give me a little guideline, little reference to work with. And then I always, for the most part, draw my petals kind of organic because I feel they're a lot more interesting. So I'm just going around those guidelines, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to erase those. I'm putting in some that are tucked behind, like so. You could even do more tucked behind here if you wanted. And then let me grab my eraser. There we go. This is just my little, it's a Mitsubishi eraser, and you unwrap it and more of the eraser comes out. Just erasing my guidelines. I don't want these pencil lines. Sorry for that camera shake. Trying to erase gentle here. And this paper in this journal is specifically for this medium. I found I also ordered this kind of cardstock paper. Let me show you that. That would also do well, but I want to keep some of these in this book so that I can come back and reference them. 1 second. So this is another paper, Nina paper, and it's a good paper as well that you can use for your Ohuhu markers. I would use the little plastic sheet they give you so it doesn't soak through your paper onto whatever's underneath. All right, while that ink kind of dries, I'm sure it's already dry now. what I'm going to do is the colors that I wanted to use today are these beautiful yellow colors. And what I found after a week or so of playing with these is what was the easiest process to start for me was taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've chose 6 different colors and I've got them right here. And sorry, hope I'm not making you dizzy there. And I'm just going to use those. So I played with them and I wrote down the colors. And what I did is I just went in here and tried to pick out some colors that were near each other because that makes it a lot easier to blend. And then those are what I'm going to use for my little flower here. So let me start with my lightest color, which is actually, you know what, I'm going to start with the darkest because I want to start in the center going outwards. And the darkest was the YR33. It's also called Melon Yellow. One little tip that I found kind of funny after I was using these for a week or so. So one edge of these is a chisel tip. One edge is a brush tip. And I kept opening the wrong side. It actually says on here brush, and it says on here broad tip. For whatever reason, I wasn't picking up on that quick enough. So the other thing I noticed is the side that I like to use more is this brush tip, and it has a little gray line across it. So I don't know if that's the same with Copic markers. I have Copic markers here somewhere, but haven't used them in years. So anyways, it was kind of an aha moment, even though it was a small one. So what I'm going to do is I've got my markers here. They're all lined up going from darkest to lightest. And I found I needed to work a little bit fast with these. So I'm going to start with this dark color here and start in the middle. And the other thing I found is there's this technique with these markers. They just call it flicking. And you're just flicking the color. Then I'm going to go into my next color and same thing, just flicking that color outwards. And I'm actually going over the darker color. Then I'm going to my next color. Oops, see, I keep going back to that chisel tip, and same thing. Just flicking my marker. And what that does is I noticed it made it a lot easier to blend the colors as well as if I'm overlapping them. Oh my gosh, I keep going to that side. And same thing here. So I'm getting lighter and I'm going over the previous color with each color. So it's doing this blending thing. Another one here, flicking and kind of going over everything. Look at that beautiful blend. Now, I didn't get this right away. I had to kind of practice this. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to flick downwards. Now, I could even leave white space in there if I wanted. And look at this beautiful blend I got. Now, I could go over this again, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do this one more time. So I've got my markers here lined up. I'm starting with the darkest color and just flicking my hand. And quickly go to my next darkest color, and I'll give you the colors that I used. Flicking out again, and I'm covering the first layer. My next one. So I'm really glazing, to use that word, layering over each color because it helps blend them all together. Now this one, flicking, going over the other colors. There we go. And this one. And look at this beautiful blend. Again, this didn't come to me the first time I tried this. And I will go into, now this one I'm going inwards because I don't want to flick outside my line. You can use the little blender to get rid of that, but I didn't really want to go there. So look how pretty and vibrant that is. Isn't that beautiful? So much fun, you guys. Let's just keep going. I'm going to do this one here. And as I keep sharing these with you, I will show you other techniques. By the way, you don't have to start out with the $216 set that they sent me. I couldn't have afforded to buy that on my own. Now that I see how fun they are, I might. But, so I'm going over, covering that first layer. But that's a high price tag. But you know what, you guys? If you use these a lot, I think they're totally worth it. I would ask for this for a present or something because they are really fun. And the brightness I can get with them is like, I don't know. I get a lot of bright colors with my watercolors, but this is really fun, you guys. These would be fun too if you're into Zentangles, which I'm not because I don't have the patience for those. But I could see these would be a great little medium to practice those Zentangles in. So there you go. Look at the beautiful blend. So I'll keep going here. Now, I didn't line up my markers for the leaves, but it would be the same thing. I'd just go to my card where the greens are, and I would choose 4 or 5 colors that are near each other. Oops, wrong way. And work with those. And I think it's important, what I found is to overlap the dark. I'm overlapping that darker color, flicking, and it just kind of blends them all together. And to do this while each layer is wet, because that helps them blend. There we go. This would be beautiful in a pink, right? And I will do other tutorials on these using the blender too, but I wanted to do this first because I thought this was the easiest for me to start. Again. And then I'll figure out how I'm going to do that center. And remember the flick here. I think that's really important because I did it originally when I first started playing with these, just coloring in, and I didn't get as good a result. So overlapping and flicking. Really helps blend those colors. And not letting them dry too much before you go to the next color. Because when they're wet, it's going to help you to blend it easily. And you can, by the way, these nibs are replaceable. I love the brush nib. They are replaceable. You can refill these. One of the reasons I love the brush nib is because you can get a thin line and a thick line. So watch this. Thin. Now if I turn my brush, look at that. I can get thick, thin, So I really like that point. And we just have one more here. And then again, you can refill these too, which I think is really a great help. And just look at how vibrant. Like, what fun for your spring flowers. Really vibrant. Going over everything, flicking. Yep. Kind of running out of room here on this one. And our last one here. There we go. Okay. And then let's go to the center, which, let me see. I'm going to go ahead and pick out a couple for the center. I think what I'll do is use that Y3, which is this one. And then let's pick maybe, Y9. Let's get that. Let me grab that here. Where is that? Y9. I don't see Y9. Of course I would choose one. Oh, here it is. Okay, so Y9, and then maybe a dark to just go around the outer edge. I'm almost a little nervous to use chestnut brown, but you know what? Let's give it a go. Y13, okay. All right, so I'm going to start with the lightest color, and let's just go in and color this in the center here. And if I let that dry and go for another glaze, it would get darker, which I kind of like too, like in watercolors. It can get darker and darker with layers. So I liked that as well with these. I'm going to go back with the lighter color first and just blend in over that. There you go. And then let's just dot in with that chestnut brown. Now this is the color I wasn't real sure about, but let's give it a try. Oh yeah, I like it. So see, when I do this kind of intuitively, it works so much better for me. Look at that. I could actually go all the way around, but I'm not going to. And then I might add in just a little bit of Y050 into the very center there, just to give it a little bit of pop. I could go back over with my Y33. So you can work in layers with these paints, which I really like that a lot. And then back with the softer color. I really could darken up that center a tiny bit. Let's see, what color was this? Y9. I don't want to go too dark. Just a little bit of that. There we go. And I think I'm going to use Y8. So these are all colors kind of close together. And then go over that with the lighter color to blend it. There we go. So it gives that center a little bit more definition. And then let's just go back over with those little dots. There we go. All right, so there you go. That's kind of, for me, step one of working with these. I hope you'll give them a try. If you don't have the 216 color set, that's totally okay. Get what you can afford. And I think the smaller set, which may have been what I would have started with, you know, just to test them out, has a lot of these colors. And it's just about finding these colors that are close to each other for me to start out with these markers and play and practice. I love the 216 color set. Absolutely, after playing with these, I probably would have invested in these because they are a lot of fun. All right, I hope that gives you a little bit of a glimpse, and I will do more tutorials on this, kind of expanding and giving you more. But this is, I think, for me, was a great place to start. Look at the beautiful blend. So much fun, so many colors. I absolutely love this. You know, play with your markers, add in these little lines. Make sure you're following the right shape of the flower when you add those in. Like that. There you go. So have fun with that. You could even do some little dots in here just for some finer lines. All right, I am done, you guys. Happy painting. I hope you enjoyed this. I will do more if you'd like me to. I think these are just a real kick. I showed you the other day, but here's the little bee I did, and that was awfully fun. I even added in some metallic paints from MAB Metallics. All right, happy painting, friends. Thanks for joining me here in our little community. And thanks again to Ohuhu for kind of investing in small creators, and to all of you guys as well. All right, have fun most of all.